Hello, and welcome to this video. If you are new here, my name is Marie-Louise, and I am a Kundalini Yoga teacher. I offer various types of astrology readings, card readings, and energy healing, co-creative facilitated sessions. And I am popping on here to chat about a topic that's very near and dear to my heart and something that's sort of been percolating in my heart for a while now. And today, this just felt like the right moment to pop on and start chatting. So welcome in. If you're new here, I do welcome you to subscribe. If this is the type of content you enjoy, it really benefits the whole channel, the community of This Is Being Human if you like the video, because then it gets shared with more people. And I welcome you to interact with me if you have questions or comments or anything you want me to chat about while we are live. So I think it was back in February of 2020, I had my first experience of level 2 training with Kundalini Yoga. And the first course I took was conscious communication, because I really felt that was an area that I had been struggling with, or even just felt it was challenging, because I previously worked in human resources and health and safety. And so, of course, communication was very important. I had been a trainer in crisis de-escalation and mental health first aid. And a lot of the stuff that I was observing that was happening in workplaces and breakdowns that were happening that I would get involved in then to attempt to work through, there was a lot of like misreceptivity. And I don't know if that's the right choice of word, but that's what's coming through right now. And so what I think is interesting is, of course, when we communicate, we're all listening from a lens of like all of our past experiences and all of the previous perhaps like situations that we've had that are similar, or in other ways, our beliefs and even how we define certain words have a profound effect on how we are receiving the message from the other person, right? And when we are communicating face to face, there's like so much more than the words too, right? There's like body language, there's tone, there's facial expressions. And like when you get really into it from a Kundalini standpoint, there's like the energy of the chakra that you're speaking from, like which part of your body is this message being delivered from? Is it from your navel? Is it coming from your heart? Is it a mix of some of the energy centers? Is it coming from the root? And so all of these things can affect how our message is being sent. And yet we have very little control or like ability to influence how the person on the other end is receiving that message, because it's coming through their own filters, through their own experience, through their own beliefs, through their own definitions. And so one of the things that I always hold on to that I found was like one of the most valuable things that I learned in crisis de-escalation training is this concept of seek to understand rather than be understood. We're in that place of curiosity and we deeply want to like understand someone and whatever it is that they're attempting to say, rather than jumping to conclusions, rather than allowing the mind to sort of take over and come from a place of like almost like conflict where, you know, one thing gets said and then the other person responds really quickly, and things can like escalate pretty quickly that way. And of course, I mean, I've been involved in those conversations too. I'm not saying that this is like the answer and I'm like better at communicating now, but I will say that it helps me come back to, okay, I think that I know what this person is saying, but also I don't know that they know what I'm saying. So maybe if I attempt to really understand what it is, what message they're conveying, where it's coming from, what is the underlying need that maybe isn't being communicated, that isn't being addressed, but is like the driving force, the motivation for whatever is coming out and being shared through words. It kind of helps me, like it humbles me, but it also helps me remember that if I'm having a hard time understanding the other person, of course, they are also in a similar situation. And communication is so much more complicated than I think we realize. And this whole phenomenon of social media is definitely not improving that, right? Because we kind of like type things and there's so much left to the imagination and things can be taken out of context, especially with reels. I was having a conversation with someone about this. Like, I could pull a reel and like send it to you, and it could be completely taken out of context because you didn't hear the like 45 minutes before of what the person was saying or the 45 minutes after. And whatever little blurb was said that was then posted, a lot of people are like putting a lot of emphasis on what's shared in these reels. Like, oh, the person's a psychologist or the person's a doctor, so I have to just take what they're saying and like, it must be true. Yet we don't know the rest of the framework that sort of set up that message to be delivered. And so why am I talking about all of this? Well, it's been a really long time since I offered a conscious communication training or like series. And I am feeling really guided to do that, mostly because I also need to reconnect with that curriculum and come back to the practices. So if this is something that you are interested in, that you would enjoy exploring and deepening in with me and in a group in community, I am offering online conscious communication series starting in June. And I will put some details in the description box below. And you're welcome to reach out to me if you have any questions. I actually highly encourage that because, again, whatever I type down there may not be clear through your lens. And so I'd rather have a conversation with you and make sure that you understand what it is that this offering includes. And if you want to share anything or you have any questions or comments, I always love to hear from you. So thank you so much for joining. And may we all have more conscious communication, and may that also deepen all of our relationships and our capacity to be authentic, and also really witness people in their vulnerability and let them share who they really are. So thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being you. And thanks for being human. So much love, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.